Hi, Chris here. Today I'm going to attempt a pick and gut on this Gerda HSS Padlock. It's a disc detainer design with I think 9 discs, quite chunky. Normally this would be picked using tension from the rear of the lock. You can see there's the 0 cut disc at the back. It's got a gated spinner at the front. I'm actually going to pick it from the front of the lock, or tensioning from the front of the lock, because I've just got a 1 cut on the stage 1 disc, and the gate's quite wide on the gated spinner, so I can get away with tensioning from the front while I position the rest of the discs, and then use the pick tip to tension the final disc, and use the tension nose to counter rotate disc 1, and the spinner just sorts itself out. Okay, so you can see it's locked up now. Let's turn all the discs clockwise. So although I'm tensioning from the front, I know that disc's in the wrong place, so I'm not going to start picking at the front. I'm actually going to start from the back, where I know that disc should be fully rotated, and I can just leave that where it is, and then get some decent feedback from the other discs as I work my way up through the lock. All of these discs do have false gates in, which does make things a little bit trickier, but they're not super difficult to feel. It just means that I won't be able to pick it in one pass. I will have to go through it at least twice. As I'm coming to the front of the lock, I'm not getting much feedback, which probably means I've got something not quite right a little bit further down. Let's see if that's helped. Not really. It feels better. It's got a bit of movement on the core. So yeah, that's the front of the lock. So disc 1 feels good. Disc 2 feels good. Disc 3, maybe. Disc 4. That was better where it was. Come at the back of the lock now. So we'll try tension there. Counter rotate disc 1, and there we go. The lock is open. Right. Let's see if we can take this apart. so here's that spinner. So you can see it's got quite wide gates. So with that one cut on the first disc, I can still tension off that first disc and do the counter rotation, and the spinner just sorts itself out, which is useful from a picker's perspective. Of course, you wouldn't be able to do that all the time. There'd be other keys where that wouldn't work. Take this out on the key. Losing a bearing. So there's the sidebar. Nothing too interesting, just a round bar. Take the other bearing out of there now. And the shackle will drop out. You can see, hopefully you can see down there, it's the groove that the sidebar runs in. So all of these discs have got false gates on. Some of them have got one, some of them two. You can see this disc 1, you've got a nice deep true gate there, much shallower false gate there. If I've got one criticism of this lock from a sort of picking perspective, it's that the false gates are quite a lot narrower than the true ones. I think the true ones are probably quite a lot wider than they really need to be, actually, and that means that it's not too difficult most of the time to tell whether you are in a true or a false gate. Last disc is a little bit different. This would be normally what the key would use to load up the core, and you can see it's got a little bit more of a profile on it. Also seems looks like it's made out of a different material, sort of shinier, so maybe it's a hardened steel where the rest aren't, not sure. There is one of these discs in here, I think it's maybe this one. Here you can see this one's actually got 2 false gates on. A little bit more difficult, but as I say, not super difficult to feel the false gates, so just slows you down a little bit when you're picking. Okay, so there we are, Gerda HSS Padlock, picked and gutted.